Hello, everyone. Oh,
There's
Hello,
Mr. Greer.
hi.
hello.
You're in your car?
I am. I'm on my way to Santa Clara, but if I don't stop here in Rio Dale, I'm in a non-reception area for the next hour and a half.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Well,
wow.
thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
wow. Yeah, thank you for being with us. Um, well, great. We are so excited to have you all here tonight, and kind of sharing with us all of your time and your wisdom. And we'll maybe wait another minute, for people to come on. If you're, if as you're here waiting, if you were be willing to put your name and county in the chat, and we are curious about what drew you here tonight. So if you want to put that in the chat, and then we'll give people a chance to also introduce themselves and share why they're here tonight. Um, so I see Janet, hello, welcome, and Rosemary, welcome. And let's see. Oh. And I hope you guys, we are recording, so I hopefully no one has an objection, mostly because I think we want to just keep record of this conversation. So let's see. Who else is there? Bob, welcome. Bob. Yeah, thank you. And
Yes,
if you,
Bob from Mariposa. It's very difficult. This is Yvonne Chan who sent you personal email. You're the hardest one to get hold of because the email domain from Mariposa is very difficult. But anyway, thank you. You're here.
Sorry.
Got through.
oh no, we're thrilled you took time to be with us.
I like the logo too. Look at that, those little cars.
Yeah. And I see is it Aquila? Am I saying that right? Aquila?
Yes, that's
Oh,
Akira from Nevada. Nevada, you're the
great.
board president. Well, thank you for being here. You're another one that's
Yeah.
hard for me to get hold of, but we did it.
And then is it Hino
Aquila from Lake.
from Lake? Okay. So welcome everyone. We are just asking people to put their name and their county in the chat. We're going to get going. And we'd also love for you to share either in the chat or verbally kind of what brought you here tonight. And we're going to do that in just a minute. I just wanted to give you a chance to think. So we are very excited about having you here as we and enter into this dialogue with us and how we can work together to advocate for the interest of the small and the rural counties. I'm Bina Lefkowitz, the president of the Association of the California County Boards of Education, or ACCBE. We are a relatively new statewide organization created by and solely for county board members. And our goal is to advocate for the needs of county boards and the students we serve, and support board members to be effective and impactful trustees. And at the end of the meeting, we'll tell you a little more about this. But with me tonight from ACCBE leadership are David Patterson, who's our VP, and he's from Placer County. He's actually on a call right now with Riverside County talking to them about ACCBE, so hopefully he'll join us in a little bit. Yvonne Chan is here, our treasurer from LA County. We have ACC board member Shelton Yip from Yolo, and Juliana Ferriani will be joining in a bit. Yuri Calderon, who is the leader of the Small School Districts Association, who you probably all know, and whose partnership we are very grateful for. We hope will be joining us soon. He's in DC doing advocacy for you guys. And also we have Chris, our new program manager, who today is his first day. And then Ronald, who's running our Zoom meeting, who's our tech angel. I also want to acknowledge those trustees on boards who have already joined ACCBE from Colusa County, Del Norte, Tuolumne, and Calveras.
Calusa.
And Colusa, yeah.
That's Dale North.
And Del
Not
Norte
Del
is
Norte.
#1, the first one.
Yeah, I
Hey,
thought I said that, but
it's
forgive me if I
No,
didn't.
it's Portuguese, so it's Del Norte.
Del Norte,
Not Del
thank
Norte.
you. Thank you. Okay, so really before we get into the agenda, we wanted to kind of hear from you and see who's in the room. So, and we are curious why you chose to spend your hour with us. And so, Mike, would you be willing to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here tonight?
Yes, I can do that. I'm Mike Greer. Like I said, I'm at the one-on-one county, both a school district and a county representative. I'm Region 1 Director for CSBA, County Office of Education. I'm a member of the CSBA Legislative Committee, and I think that we'll be able to have a greater opportunity to more quickly address issues that take a little bit longer to do through CSBA, because we're able to go directly to the Superintendent's Association, some of the other associations that we'll be partnering up with for legislation. And I think we can do it faster and quicker because some of the things that are happening need to be done now, not 4 or 5 months down the road.
Well, thank you for that. We're excited you're a member and that you're you have your hands in lots of different pots, and we're really excited to have you here. Thank you. How about, would Janet like to introduce herself and maybe tell us why she came today?
Sure. My name is Janet Sterling, and I'm a trustee at the Calaveras County Office of Board of Education. And like everybody else, we're a small rural county, and we recently joined ACCBE. And so we are excited to just participate in the webinars and seminars that you have. And this one seemed like a good opportunity because it's well suited for us.
Great, thank you. Akila, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what brought you here today? You are on mute. Whoop, we can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here. I'm Akila Elamine Bakit from Lake County, California. I was elected to the Lake County Office of Ed Governing Board just a few months ago. And so I'm interested in learning all that I can to better represent District 1, which I'm the representative of in Lake County. So thank you for the invitation.
Well, welcome.
Mike, you are with Mike. You're together. And
yes, I haven't met. Right? I haven't met Mike yet.
Oh,
well, there you go. I'm
yes.
glad you got to meet tonight.
Yes.
How about is it Haino Nikolai?
It's Haino Nikolai. I'm with the Nevada County Board of Education. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I'm here just to educate myself and to see how we can best move forward.
Great. Well, thank you for being with us. We are looking forward to hearing more about your thoughts on issues that matter to you in your county. How about Bob?
And Lick is also in Region 1, right? Mike, you have everybody there. Okay, good.
Well, I'm very familiar with Nevada County, mostly because of the simple fact that I used to, with CTA, I was the service center chair for Nevada County, along with Sutter and Yuba and Colusa and Sierra County. So I had teachers up there, so I used to go talk with them occasionally.
Oh, great.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you. How about Bob Morris? Bob, welcome. And what brought you here tonight?
Hi, thank you. I'm Bob with the Mariposa County Unified School District. Excuse me. We have a unique situation in Mariposa where the county office and the school board are one and the same. We do have one superintendent that the school board hires on the school side, and then an elected superintendent, which is usually the same person on the county side. But we serve both the County Office of Education and the school district. I'm a District 3 trustee and also the vice chair. I am interested in anything I can do, any organization I can belong to help graduate students. I'm also very concerned about financing from the federal level at this point. I am going to the Coast to Coast with the Coast to Coast group to DC the end of April. I went 2 years ago to advocate for small school, small necessary school funding, anything we can get for the county office. And those are my and as well as the special needs. Those are my biggest things I'm advocating for.
Great. Well, I'm going on coast to coast too, so I'll look forward to spending time with you there.
And
Sounds
you're
great.
not the only single. We call you the singles. There are 7 of you, okay? So
Oh,
we certainly
wow.
will make sure that we have some focused work with you singles, including San Francisco is a single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
All right. So I was just going to ask Serena and Diana and Rosemary, do you guys want to say hi real quick?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I've been a fan of ACCBE from the very beginning, and I want to continue to support and learn more and see if I can bring some good information to my county.
And is that Rosemary?
Yeah, no.
I am here. We are in the car traveling to Utah, but I wanted to catch this meeting because anything that ACCBE puts out, I am interested because you are for the county school boards. And I'm really excited to learn more. And even though I've been on the school board for almost 8 years, I don't know as much as I thought I would know by now. So I appreciate everything that you do.
Great. Well, thank you. I appreciate your having that learning mindset. I didn't mean to cut off the last person that spoke. I didn't catch the name, not of Rosemary, but the other person.
That's Serena.
Serena. Okay,
Yep.
great. Thank you, Serena. Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
Okay, if anyone else want to introduce themselves? If not, we'll move on. So any last introductions? Diana, did you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. My name is Diana Lytle. I'm with Colusa County Office of Education. I'm the new trustee for Area 1. And I was very excited to learn that we joined ACCBE. And then when I saw the opportunity for the classes and things, that's right up my alley. So I was really excited for that. I'm very education based and I want to make sure that I'm, on board and knowledgeable for everything that I'm going to need to do in my position.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you. Appreciate those good words. Why don't we want to hear more from you about issues. So let's move on and tell you why we are all together tonight. If I could have the next slide, please. So our purpose for tonight was really to, we realize that the needs of your counties often get lost in the conversations in Sacramento. And so we want to be an ally with the Small School Districts Association to lift up your voices and help advocate for your needs and interests in your families and your counties. We are here. We're going to go in just a few minutes into kind of a listening mode. We really want to hear from you around your hopes, your aspirations, your challenges. And again, we hope to raise your visibility in the Capitol and even among our peers, so we can all learn more about the small rural areas. And again, we're doing this in partnership with the Small School Districts Association. So next slide, please. And I don't think Yuri has joined us yet. I believe he is back in Washington advocating for you guys. And so hopefully he'll come on and give us a report on what he's been up to. And we are trying to work in partnership with him, again, to help advocate for the counties in the rural areas. Okay, next slide, please. And now I'm going to turn it over to my friend Shelton, who's going to kind of take you through a series of questions that we have for you.
Thank you very much, Bina. Yeah, this is an important piece. Like I said, Yuri is back there advocating for small school districts and all, because we've all heard the stories of cutting the grants for rural districts and all. I was on a call with Arnie Duncan today, that the past Secretary of Education, and he referenced it also in terms of the concerns he has in terms of the talk in Washington, D.C. regarding our small districts and county offices. Mike Greer kind of summed it up real quick there in terms of, the why ACCBE and all of that. We're going to have the opportunity for greater legislative action faster than the greater whole, the CSBA. Mike, do you have anything else to add on, in terms of the why before we start asking the questions?
I think very much like Bob did, is that we need to do everything we can, go every direction we can in order to get the results that we want. It's just like going back to coast. I'll also be going back there, but we need to go ahead and make our presence known, not just back in Washington, D.C., because let's face it, a lot of our money doesn't come federal unless it's just, just the title programs, special education. But we need to make it known there. And we need to be part of the group that helps them to streamline the Department of Education and make sure we get the things that we need. If there's, other things they want to do, that's up to them. But we need to make sure we get what's needed for counties and small schools.
Okay.
And the only way we can do that is be part of that. And I think, when we go back there, as county representatives, we'll get together and say, this is what we need as counties. And we can do that directly through this new association, whereas before we couldn't really do it that way.
Thank you for that, Mike. So again, going back to identifying the challenges and the opportunities, we created a simple structure tonight, and we want to hear from you in terms of these 4 categories. And there's going to be another one where we're going to have opportunity to talk through some more things too. But so I'm going to open it up now in terms of your ideas. What are some of your thoughts behind these 4 items? And we're going to start with educational programs. Again, as counties, we have our court and community schools, we have our special education, we have our early childhood programs and all. What are some things that you can address, that we can address, in terms of the challenges that you have in your areas, in terms of those educational programs? What are some of the things that come to mind? I'm going to open it up for anyone and everyone at this point.
If I could jump in for a second on the educational programs, as far as the special ed, I know that, a lot of federal funds come from that, and we're not funded as much as we were promised in the 70s when they signed this. And that's one of the things that, we could do so much more if we had so much more funding for our special needs community.
Okay, funding part of it, that goes in number 3, the funding part of it, but it is the direct in terms of special education. I have more to say about that, but that's not for me. Okay. Who else would like to add on to educational programs, some of the things, the challenges that you see now and in the future in your area?
Well, just getting started, what I see, and I agree with the gentleman before me, the special education staffing in that program, being a rural community that we are, 40-ish miles away from a city, a larger city, and we only have a population of about 1,500 people that live here. Obviously, there's not many teachers that live here. I'm concerned about that. How do we attract talent to our program when everything is so costly now anyway? How are we going to get the people that are going to want to make that commute, basically? And also, as far as financially, I think all of our teachers are underpaid anyway, but I think that some documents that I had read for some other areas as well, the staffing per diem for special education was equal with all the other teachers. And I feel that this is a more challenging classroom, and Not to say that one deserves more than the other, but I think that that needs to be given some consideration, particularly for the rural schools that are trying to find people from maybe 50, 60 miles away that are willing to commute every day.
Right.
Sheldon, this is Yvonne.
Yeah.
Can I jump in, having
Sure.
been a special ed teacher my life?
By the
So
way,
the
yeah,
question-
Yvonne and I both come from the special ed world. That's why.
Okay, we're all self-put directors, and I'm with Los Angeles Unified, huge, right? Okay, so the question I have for Nevada and also, from I think Lake, okay. So are we also looking at that about teacher credentialing? Is there some way that there will be legislation that allow the credentialing, or you don't really need to have a certain type of credentialing on competency base to make it easier for us to get teachers? Secondly, is that special ed teachers definitely need that additional incentive, whether it's monetary or, time off to do paperwork and bring in someone else, or streamline the IEPs, as well as, the use of smart technology. Are we thinking also in that kind of pathway about, come on, you can give us more money, can you at least give us some freedom, or not that much paperwork? What do you think?
The paperwork reduction is a big one for special education. It really is. I mean, overall, for all of our districts, large, small, whatever it may be, the paperwork is outrageous. But, all of the, I know that when Yvonne and I first started, there was a one pager. And now those IEPs now are 15, 20, 25 pages long. And so, it's one of those things that I know I had a conversation with state SELPA past presidents and future president that's one of the things that they are looking at, and we talked through that one just it was only a few weeks ago. But yeah,
So I'm wondering, as a group, whether big counties, small counties, it's the same rules and regulations, right? Same credentialing. If we come
Right.
together to look at the big system beyond the education program, into staffing, into incentive, into assistive technology, into deregulations, maybe that will be a good conversation quickly in the future.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things on education that we need to take a look at. One of that is the fact that districts are continuing to take away special education from the counties. Some counties don't want it, some of them do. And it depends on the size. So I know we've had to deal with that. In Del Norte, we're short 6 special education teachers. We actually went out and hired teachers from overseas to take those positions.
Sure.
And because it was easier for us to go ahead and get special education from, we actually got 6 teachers from the Philippines to come in.
Mhm.
It's easier to do that than it is to get a special education teacher from Oregon
Right.
to work, even though we're right on the Oregon border, because of the regulations that are there with our Department of Education. So we need to take a look at, when you talk about credentialing, how can we do that to the Department of Education in California that it allows us to do it? Because I'm also a special education specialist, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
so
that
I
was one of the
understand
things that for 5 years I was on the committee to work on this credentialing issue. And you mentioned Oregon, and I would take a teacher from Oregon in a heartbeat because they're trained right there. That's their, that's what their major is in special education, and they're getting all the background. But I'll tell you where the pushback came from. It came from our own system, our CSU and UC
Yep.
system,
Yes.
because that's their money. That's how they earn their money to do the credentialing piece of it. And boy, I got a lot of, but I was really pushing on the reciprocal part of it. Like I said, Oregon, why would someone come in from Oregon or some other state that has a special ed credential and then have to go through and do California history and all the other
Exactly.
stuff. So
Yep.
let us put that back on the table too. And that, and
Mhm.
we can, in terms of the special ed part of it, we can really partner up with the state SELP organization on some of
Mhm.
these too. So, we'll reach back out to them. They've done some work with us in terms of our presentations to county members and stuff like that. So, congratulations, David. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm reading in the chat there, Riverside County had just joined the ACCBE.
Wow. What did they do with CSBA though?
Well, I don't know. I
You
mean,
guys, let's not go there.
yeah,
please.
no, we're
Okay,
not
let's
gonna.
not go there.
Hey,
Okay,
remember,
continue.
Mina, I'm
Let's-
ADD. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Let's get
No,
back
that's
to this one.
So where are you guys? Ed program, it sounded like you were talking about staffing.
Yes, all the
You've got a
above.
lot more ground to cover. Keep going.
We covered a lot of, education programs, staffing, funding, and it all tied together. And even the compliance and bureaucracy and
Yeah.
other legal issues that go along with it. They've been really good about sharing some of that stuff. What else do we have on your mind right now that we can put as part of our global thinking in terms of our legislative process, or what things we need to advocate for?
If I could share one more thing about funding, one of the unique things about Mariposa County Unified School District is we have a lot of federal land, including Yosemite National Park.
Oh,
We
yeah.
actually have a school in Yosemite National Park. And one of the things that I've noticed a while back when I was doing some calculating of funding is we are missing out on about $650,000 a year in property tax. We do get federal funding of, I want to say it's $350,000 a year from the federal government to educate those students that live on that federal land, which are usually park employees, rangers, and their families. We have to split that with Mariposa County for fire, health, and safety and roads. So we get about $150,000 of that, which isn't near enough to educate. We're only a district of about 1,700 enrollment. And that's also on this funding thing that we look at. It's very unique for us. Our ADA is, we're just above basic aid. And we've got small necessary schools, I want to say 3 of them in our district are small necessary schools. One of them only has a student body of 35 students. That's in Yosemite National Park. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge for us to get the resources where we need to get them to.
That's a big challenge. I'm sorry, but thank you for sharing that, because I keep forgetting about that. And that's one of the things that, we have to look at a base funding for our small rural counties and schools that is, not dependent upon ADA, not dependent upon a lot of other things. So that's something we had put on our list. It's sort of like what we did when we went after the juvenile hall funding or our community day school funding for counties, because, our students come and go, and that's our charge, is to get them in and get them back to their district. And so we, depends on if they got counted into our ADA or not. And that's the same. You have a similar issue with your small necessary schools. And that's where URI comes in and really in terms of advocating for some of that. So,
Well, let me also jump in there, Sheldon. The other thing is that Washington D.C. is a little bit of chaos. Let's just all put that on the table. However, we are very lucky that the chair of the K-12 education subcommittee is Kevin Kiley, one of our own, and his district covers much of the rural areas of it's actually from above Sacramento almost all the way down to Death Valley. And I know he, for example, is one of the co-authors of the federal bill. But if you haven't had an opportunity to meet him or ask him to, visit your district or spend some time with his staff, we have a unique opportunity because he's in such a place of leadership to make a difference for us. So I urge everybody to do that, and it's something that we can help happen. That's for sure.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was just going to ask the group, in terms of other types of educational programs, like are the serving kids who've been expelled or who have gotten in trouble in juvenile hall, are there any unique needs you have around serving those students, or also in terms of support services like mental health practitioners to be in your schools, or just curious what you see as your needs in those arenas?
Bina, I can say for Calusa, actually our community school has grown. We went from 1 teacher to 2, and it's not that there's more kids that I guess have been sent there by the districts, but they want to come. They've seen that the program has expanded and what's offered to the students there. And so maybe some kids that wouldn't fit into the normal classroom setting feel that they might be able to thrive there. So it's kind of exciting in a way that there's a change to the program, that we're able to, fit the needs of many types of students and not just the ones that are credit deficient or been expelled or that type of thing.
Thank you. That's
Okay. Anything else in terms of this compliance, bureaucracy, legal, all other issues? Anything else that is on the top of your head right now that you'd like us to?
I have one concern. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I've been reading about the need for teachers to have housing, because it seems like that's a great problem or a considerable problem for teachers to not be able to live in certain communities because there's not enough housing or because they don't earn enough money to actually pay for housing. So that's a concern that I have as well. And I'm not sure where it fits within these categories, maybe staffing, I'm not sure. But
It
that's
fits,
something
it fits
that we
in,
need.
it fits into the category, especially, like I said, all your areas. I mean, Lake, Brock and I were talking about that, the housing piece of it, last week. And so, yeah, and there's a bill, I believe, that's going out there. That's something that we can join on to or look at and see. But the housing issue is something that needs to be looked at and work and to help us bring our teachers, bring teachers to our district and stuff like that. So thank you for bringing that up.
I think I would add that one of the key things there is often, if you're a really large district, maybe you can handle it yourself. But a number of counties where conversations occurring, they have smaller districts that don't have, and so the county's actually thinking about how can they fill a role that serves housing needs throughout their county, and a multiple that in a way that a small school district would never be able to put on the table. And I think that's a quality conversation, but that also reflects the reality here. Every county's needs are different, and while it may be something that works well or very important in County A, it may not be in County C. So what we want is opportunity, but we don't want a one-size-fit-all imposition. Because if you can't live in the county, if you can't live where you teach, there's something wrong.
Yes.
I think go ahead.
Yeah, this is Yvonne. So Dave, I've heard that Monterey, okay, I think Annette talked about getting, what they call a multi-county consortium to, work with developer. And I know, of course, Lakeland, LA is big, but we still have small ones around us, like Inyo, down there. So, absolutely right. There's no way that one county is a small one, although you may have land. The big urban ones, we don't have land, right? So if come together to figure it out and you will have developer who just may buy into the multi-county, structure to feel that, it is worthwhile, it's comfortable enough to roll it out. So we'll put that on our list.
Put that on
And
our list because I know that, again, both CSBA, AXA have been having those discussions with districts and stuff like that. So,
Right.
we can join in that conversation, or we should be able to join in that conversation in terms of that.
And I
So
think,
again, thank you for bringing that up.
and I think you're right, Cheryl. We need to attach ourselves to all the work they've already done with CSBA. One of the things we're doing in Del Norte is I've already had discussions with the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
with the city and the county and the school district, because we're so remote. We cannot do it ourselves, but if we get all of those together for those positions, whether it's police officers, teachers, city workers, whatever it might be, and come together to do that is another option that you can take a look at. And I think we can tag on with what's going on right now and push it and keep it on our list and give them the ideas and thoughts that we have.
If I
Thank
can
you.
dovetail on that a bit, we've got some property in Mariposa County. We had to close some schools in 2008 when the budgets went south. And one of the things that's an idea at this point, I come from a maintenance operations, transportation, construction background, facilities. And one of the things that is just an idea is a leaseback program that we would, like I said, it's just an idea. We get a contractor to come in and build some duplexes on one of our properties. Their part of the carrot is for 10, 15 years, they get the rents from those properties, and then we own it in 10 or 15 years. That's just an idea that we're kicking around right now.
Okay. All right.
And can
Do
I,
we Yep, go right ahead, please.
for Harris County, I'm new to the board. I've only been there a couple years, so my background is really not in education. It's in the legal field, although I have represented many people in the education field in labor law. But in our county, the housing is a huge issue because a lot of the housing in our county is either people's second homes that live in the Bay Area, or they do Airbnb. So there's a lot of homes that are vacant, and it's a huge issue that they're actually trying to address at the Board of Supervisors level as well. So we have that as a big issue, and I don't know if this is appropriate to say at this point, but I know I'm a part of our executive council meeting, and we meet like every 2 to 3 months, and it's with different board members and also all of the superintendents at the schools. And they have been saying that they've noticed in the last several years with the student population that it's much higher with many students have IEPs. When they said they used to, like, you'd have maybe out of a class of 20, you'd have, a small amount of them. They'll say there's like 2 or 3. They're like, now, the IEPs, we have, like 17. So they said that makes it challenging as well.
Sure. No. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's across the state. It's the same thing that kids are being identified. And this is why one of the things that, well, anyway, we'll talk about those things later, because I want to make sure we have enough time to get through all of the above. But thank you for bringing that up, Janet. Anything else in terms of this? If not, we're going to move on. Are we ready to move on, folks? Okay, we're going to go to the next slide. There you are. Okay, here we go. Here's again, you could either put it in the chat or, just shout it out in terms of some of the things, your challenges and all. Are there specific needs around board training, governance, or professional development that you can identify for your area? What are the top legislative priorities? What are your top 3 issues? We heard some of them already, so we have some of that down already, but anything else that you might have? And I always like this one. If you had a magic wand, what policy changes or new programs would you implement to improve student outcomes?
I just chime in for a moment here.
Yes.
Um,
I was wondering where you were at. You no. Please.
I wish, from a magic wand standpoint, okay? And I hope this doesn't come across as negative. I just wish we wouldn't constantly keep on pushing students to college.
Sure.
There certainly is a need for post-secondary education, okay, and for certifications, but the general tendency that I'm seeing now is more of a shift towards CTE, career technical education. I'm certainly in favor of that. That's where I come from. And I just wish that from a societal standpoint, we wouldn't advocate or I apologize, my words are failing me. The stigma that we have against career technical education.
No, I don't think you're going to have an argument here on this group that's in front of you. So thank you for saying that. I mean, the conversation I had with my next door neighbor, a 16-year-old, and he was kind of floundering out there in the world and all. I mean, he's a smart kid. But Davis, I live in Davis. And so at Davis High School, they have the big robotics team piece. And all of a sudden, he just blossomed in terms of that. And it was like, his parents are both professionals. One's a doctor, one's an engineer. And I think he was feeling the pressures that he had to go into a college, right up front. But now he's like, hey, there's some other things I can maybe do. And that was the conversation we had just the other day. Because I always check in with them saying, how are you? How you doing? And that's one of those pressures. You're correct. I mean, society puts a stigma on a child that doesn't go. But again, coming from the special ed background, I was also a continuation high school principal, alternative ed principal. And I look at the kids that, today that were throwaway kids, that they come back and they talk about, the opportunities. There was no pressure to go to college. Let's find, what really is your, where's your heart at? What is it you want to do?
What turns you on?
What turns you on? And I mean, I have these kids that they're not kids anymore. They're 50, 55 years old. And they're my friends now, and we meet out in this, and we talk and everything else. And they're doing some great things out there. They didn't go to college, but they're doing some great things. They work for the city, they work for the county, they do all the above. But some of the training that we were able to get for them is doing it. Now with our county board now in Yolo County, we have from our alternative ed program internships, and they're working with a different, agencies and all. And the last few years, they've been hired on. So, that's important. So anyway, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I think we can put that down in the positive. And I think, we can capture that as clearly a focus, because counties often lead these discussions, and that's only good. So I'm excited about that one. And I know others have been, I want everybody to have the opportunity to go to college if that's their choice. I also want them to have a good, solid job opportunity and be able to put food on the table and care for their family. And then if they go to Harvard the day after, that's fine by them. If they just stay in the community and become a community leader, that's equally the great place to be.
And we don't want to forget that when we talk college, we tend to forget about community college as being the next step,
Right.
And not just, going to a UC or a CSU or whatever it may be. But the community colleges have a lot of those training programs for our kids that are excellent, kind of things. It's the next great move. So, yeah,
So I want to push people. I do this. I'm sorry. You know, don't your backyard. Think of your board. Think of your colleagues. If we showed up into town and was able to provide a certain part of support or training on do you want to learn more about CTE? Do you want that opportunity? Do you want a workshop on how a board sets goals, how you best work with your superintendent, because we have a unique aspect as a county board. What are some solid specific items or is everything perfect in your backyard?
And if I could just add, I don't want to take away from the value of the general education and the arts that are a part of that. Okay, I think it's a matter of being in balance.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and also, in LA, there are a lot of kids going through what we call the OSHA certificate, 10 hours, 20 hours trades. They accumulate 5 of them, boy, they can make more money than a lot of other ones. And that interests them. They love to do that. And especially, tomorrow will be a very different, jobs that have not been created yet that you can only create. We're with you.
All right. Any other, because Bina's going to start pushing me a little bit more in terms of any other challenges.
5
or
more
opportunities?
minutes.
What's that again?
Oh,
We
we have
have
5 minutes.
5 more
Wow.
minutes. So
See, I knew it. I knew it. No.
Yeah.
Any-
Akila, did you want to
anything
say
else?
something?
Yes, I would. This is something that's of interest to me. If I could make policy changes, I guess I'd have a magic wand and would want all the different types of intelligence to be recognized, because we do learn in different ways. We don't all have the ability to sit down and read something and understand it. Some people do it through music, through athletics, and other ways. People learn how to show that they're intelligent, just as intelligent as those of us who learn through reading and doing research and so forth and so on. So that's what I would do if I could wave a magic wand. I would do that.
Touche.
Hey. Okay.
We could actually have each person speak to this question, and I don't know who was just going to talk. Was it Janet?
Yes.
But please.
I was just going to say, as far as trainings that I know, like for our county would be helpful, because we've got 3 of us have probably been on the board like 4 years and less. So I know with us, it would be helpful to have a training with, we have a good relationship with our superintendent, but we had one before that, and apparently it was more strained, although when I came, it was kind of the end. So I think it would be helpful for us to have like a training with the board and, how to deal with effectively and cohesively with the board and the superintendent and his or her team. And then the other one that I know that we sometimes struggle with, where the board is pretty collaborative overall, but we have one board member and she's fantastic in many ways, but she gets off topic and she talks a lot about things. It's hard to keep her focused. So if there's like a training that could, help us to how to deal with that, because the one thing is I just tell some of the other board members, even though it could get frustrating, I just want us to continue to be respectful of each other. But it's a hard one to try to keep saying to this person that you don't need to comment or everything, or you don't need to go on and on. Not to be rude. I mean, I don't mean to sound, but that is an issue, at least for us.
I mean, you have business in front of you that you need to address, and if it goes off topic and the person keeps on talking, and maybe that is something that if for you or someone that could have a sit down with that person too, but a training on that would be good, because I know that you're not the only one that has an issue like that. I used to have an executive secretary that would kick me under the table, but other than that,
We haven't heard from Rosemary or Diana in a bit, or Serena. Do you guys have any thoughts on this one? And what your either magic wand is, what your kind of training you'd like, or top legislative priority? feel free to either in the chat or verbally.
I'll go ahead and talk. I've been to some of the trainings that Bina and David have presented, and I know you guys do a great job of informing board members of their roles. And then also to say, as you know, to kind of agree with Janet, our role and how that works with the superintendent. Just some of the basic trainings that you've done in the past. I think it would be kind of nice to go through those. The handbook was wonderful. Because sometimes it's just the little things that you kind of go, oh, yeah, I'd forgotten that, or that's something, new I didn't know. And so I think some of those smaller things are important too, but I'm just kind of anxious to see what the group brings, because I know there's some exciting things coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Diana, Rosemary, Bob, any last words? Mike?
Yes, I do, and it's on legislation. And we were just hit yesterday with the fact of the clean energy legislation for schools, and the fact that we have to go ahead and put solar panels up here where they're not very effective because of our fog, because of the everything. But if we want to build a new building, it's going to cost us a lot more to do that. That everything has to be electrified. I'd like to see some exemptions put into that, some type of legislation that could exempt certain counties and small school districts from having to comply.
If I could add on to that, Mike, it's really interesting in that the regulations and the requirements that are put forth are based on a smaller proximity and are not necessarily applicable to where we are.
Exactly.
I mean,
Thank you.
that's going back to the electric buses. I mean, some of your areas you can't use electric buses because one trip you drain the
It's
battery
too
already,
big.
that kind of
It's
thing.
too big. We can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. Esparto had an electric bus that caught on fire, and now they're having challenges from the bus drivers that won't drive electric buses anymore because they couldn't put the fire out. That kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
all the Bina,
Okay.
it's yours.
Yeah, great, everyone. If you have more ideas, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll also be willing to stick around. We want to just, I think you've given us a good start of things to focus on. I'd like to, and we'll commit to you to send out the notes so we can capture your high points. If I could go to the next slide, we want to give you a little quick how we can support you and some next steps. So we are offering new board member training, and I would say new or newish. You can determine where you fall in on the newish part. But they're 1-hour trainings. Our next one is the 7th. We started with board roles and responsibilities on February 3rd, and in March we did your role as an appellate body, and we're going to be trying to figure out what April 7th is based on feedback of our participants. We're also offering one-on-one mentoring, and also we're looking at like a monthly coaching session where people can come together and bring their issues or problems of practice or their problems of trying to figure out how do I work with my board, how do I resolve this issue in my county, and giving us a chance to just peer problem solve together. We have a quarterly networking, so every quarter we're going to have a networking, learning, sharing, and program for all county board members. And actually, the one coming up March 17th is all focused on career tech ed and innovations in career tech ed, and we'll be talking a little bit about apprenticeships there as well. We have our policy and advocacy committee. So for those of you that really do want to get deep dive into the advocacy work, March 25th at 6, and you can coordinate with Dave Patterson. And then we're looking at, we're thinking about doing what I call innovation workshops, which would be deeper dives on a certain issue, like, for example, court and community schools or literacy, or, we're going to seek your input on what that deep dive would look like. And it'd be like a series of 2 or 3 sessions, and to really look at how to innovate around things that are really barriers to our young people learning. So those are different ways to get involved and how we can support you. Can I go to the next slide? And again, we're about advocacy. Look, we are building partnerships with the county SUPS, with the Small Districts Association, and you guys had some good suggestions on other groups we should be talking to. We do offer the training and the capacity building. And then again, as I said, we're really trying to bring innovation so that we can't keep doing the same thing we're doing, because it's not, so many of our kids are not getting better and doing better in school. We got to think of different ways of helping our students. For example, like really focusing on multiple intelligences, which I think Akila brought up. Okay, next slide. So you can become involved. We appreciate those of you who have joined us. For those of you that are not yet members of CCBE, we would love to have you. We are glad to come and do a presentation in front of your board if you need. We can send you materials. So whatever we can do, we'd love to entice you to join us and be part of this great new effort going on just to support county board members. We will have ways to contribute to conversations like these kinds of activities or surveys. And then we do have some committees, if you're interested, our planning committee that plans all of our workshops, advocacy, and then different ways to engage members. So we really are for county boards, about county boards. We're volunteer run. We do have our Christopher now and Ronald who help us, but we're pretty grassroots. We'd like to think of ourselves as nimble and able to really respond to the needs that you guys are telling us you have. Next slide. Okay, so with that, thank you. We'd love any final comments. How did this go for you? Any other words of wisdoms that you'd like to share? And I'm going to just actually quickly go through the list, and feel free to say something or just pass. Bob, do you have a thought or comment as we leave, as we bid each other adieu?
Just thank you guys very much for what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to joining in and getting all the information I can.
Okay, well, we'd like to follow up with you and see how we can get your board to join.
You bet.
Okay, Diana?
I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to have these trainings and to increase my knowledge so that I can be a better representative for my area. So I really appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you for being with us. Akila?
Thank you for the opportunity to participate. I look forward to working with you all again. Thank you.
You, Janet?
Yes, thank you for this. It was informative, and it's nice hearing what's happening and other suggestions from other counties. That's also very helpful. Is it possible to get a copy of this slide presentation?
Yes, we will send that out.
Okay,
with the notes.
okay, perfect. Because I'd like to share it at my next board meeting. That would be great.
That'd be
I think it will
awesome.
be uploaded in our website.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
You go to our website, all the events from the past and today's will be uploaded. You'll get the PowerPoint and the recording.
Oh, terrific. Thank you very much.
Go to our website.
Yeah. Okay, I have, and I know, forgive me, is it Hino?
Hi, no.
Hi, no, sorry.
Hi, and no.
I know.
Okay, any
Oh.
thoughts, closing comments?
Yeah, a couple of things. Looking at everyone's faces, looking at everyone's names. I just really appreciate the diversity that I'm seeing. And I really appreciate this. I think we're on a really good road, and I am going to go forward with my board and recommend that we participate with ACCBE, and great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so
I will
much.
send you everything you need tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Okay, let's see, I have Mike and who else is left?
Diana.
Mike and Rosemary, any other thoughts? And Serena?
No, just thank you for putting it all together. It's something that we need, and we need to continue to do it. And I think it's important too. It's our county, we do both CSBA and this, because sometimes you have to continue to do, and that's what I would recommend. But I think if you want something done fast, it's through ACCBE and not through CBSA. But I have a difficult time because of conflict of interest pushing it as a director for CBSA. But thank you very much for it, and I will continue to support and send out emails and let people know what we're doing, and hopefully get more people to join.
Well, thank you. And we are telling people that belong to both organizations. They both, CSBA has its strengths, and we believe we have our strengths. So thank you for saying that. Okay, who else that hasn't had a chance before we say goodbye to each other?
I'll jump in real quick. I just wanted to thank the board for your passion and your effort in getting this going and moving and trying to help all of us so that we can be better at our job and helping our students. It's really greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you. And Rosemary, I saw you came off mute. Do you have any closing words for us?
I just really appreciate all that you've done too, and all the going forward, all the classes that you're sharing with us. It's so important, and especially because we are so different from a district board. And I just think it's so important that we get all the information that we need so that we can better serve our county and the people within our county. So I appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
With those nice words, I think we will let you all go, and thank you again. You'll look forward to a note from us to thank you with the links to the PowerPoint and possibly the recording and the notes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
join us on the
Thank you.
17th for the Career Tech.
Yes, come on March
Awesome.
17th.
And
All
please
right.
talk to your other friends or colleagues from the small and singles, because right now with 17 small counties and single, we have 5 already joined, with 2 of you, hopefully, Nevada and Mariposa coming on board. So we are slowly and increasing, and we certainly want to make sure that we have that, targeted effort helping you, the small ones. We're the big ones, we're always a problem too, but together, I'm sure that we are going to get things done.
Great.
Thank
Excellent.
you.